Hello, guys. Welcome to another week of Game of Life. We're back again. Thank you for all the support. Thank you to everybody that's been posting and following us and tuning in. Today, I'll be having a conversation with a former football player, Lucky Mhlathe. Lucky has started his career at Jomo Cosmos and finished at Jomo Cosmos. Uh,
How's it?
Lucky, how
How's it,
you?
Mel?
Oh, good. Are you good?
Can't complain. Hey, technology, my friend. I had to use my scorpions to tell me what to do. Otherwise,
Yeah, no, it's no problem. No, all good. As long as yeah, well, I appreciate that. I mean, thank you for taking your time to have a chat with me. Um, yeah, obviously, usually this time of the year, you probably analyzing
yeah.
and working with super sport. But now it's because of lockdown. I mean, what are you doing now to keep yourself busy?
Basically, this gives us time to introspect what you went through before the lockdown, work-wise, personal-wise. And I think the person who's loving the lockdown a lot is the madam in the house because now I get to improve my cooking skills, watch bizarre food and try it in the kitchen. And she gets to rest a little bit.
Yeah,
And I'm one of those who loves spring cleaning because at home we never had a girl.
yeah.
So I'm up and about. I wake up early. So yeah, I've been enjoying doing the house chores a little bit, eh?
I mean, talking about lockdown for me, it's got me to get out of my shell and obviously start a show.
Yeah,
I share two lessons with you
nice.
guys. So I'm learning a lot about myself, and gives me time
Yeah.
to gym again. Yeah, so there's good and bad with lockdown. So it's depends on what you make
Yeah.
out of
No,
it.
no,
Uh,
you have to.
yeah,
We have to keep positive in this situation.
yeah,
Keep positive. Keep praying. Believe it will be over. There's a reason why it happened.
yes,
And just motivate other brothers who are feeling a little bit down, the sisters,
for sure.
and say it will pass also.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a way to go about it. I mean,
Yeah.
just to get into it. I mean, I'll take this time again to say thank you, but I like you to be here. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, you started professional football at 16 years old, and
Yeah,
and that's must have been tough. I mean, how did that come about? I mean, how did you handle being a professional at 16 and still have to go to school?
Melus, the key is balancing. I always, when I'm talking to the youngsters, I tell them there's time and place for everything.
Yeah,
There's time for school, there's time for professional football, and there's time for family and friends. So what I did is that
yeah,
after Mr. Sono selected me in the interprofessional tournament at Wits, which is 96, he asked me to come play for the juniors at Cosmos, the academy. I
yeah,
agreed. I went with my mom and the coach, and they gave me their blessings. And the following day on Sunday, I was at Cosmos. But the magic is that I had to ask Mr. Sono that I can join them Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, but Monday I must be back at school. So that's how I managed to balance the schoolwork, professional life, and also have time for family and friends when I'm off, not training. So the key here is to don't mix things. I always tell them don't mix. When it's time to work, don't want to have party. And when it's time to party, don't want to go work. So every Friday I had to take a taxi to Joburg for training afternoon with the first team. Saturday morning train with the first team. And when they go to camp, if I'm not part of the team, I'll go back home or I'll stay to watch them on Sunday. But during the week, because I was so active at school with sports, I made sure my fitness levels were up.
yeah. I mean, do you think that must be tough? I mean, do you think that's prepared you to be mentally strong and be able to make adult decisions at a young age?
Basically, it's because I find myself, I'm a very confident person
Yeah,
and I believe that I can do this. So it became easy to actually maneuver around the things because I had a belief that I wanted to be part and parcel of the professional setup at Jomo Cosmos. Once I trained with the first team once and received training kits, soccer boots, I didn't look back. I just said, this is what I want to do and I'm gonna do this. So the one plea from my mom was like you give me a matric certificate and I'll let you go do your professional, enjoy what you love, football. Because also at school, I did athletics. I was very pacey. So it made it easy for me to say, to grab onto the soccer opportunities because Jomo, when he coached me, said that like just run and cross the ball. That's all I want you to do. So it became easy for me.
No, but I mean, like, obviously you had you started having challenges of how to do what you love and how to carry on with school. So what was the pressure
Yeah.
then when you finished school? What was the pressure of what did you have to focus on the most besides football?
I think the pressure for me, to be honest, is I wanted something to fall back on.
Yes.
So what I did is that when I turned 18, I went for a driver's license
Yeah.
because still today, I believe if you have a matric and a driver's license as a professional player, if anything happens during your career, you have something to fall back on,
Yeah.
which a matric foundation for school and communication, and a driver's license you can get and establish yourself as a driver somewhere and work your way up in the company. Do you understand?
Yes. Yeah.
So after I got all those the two things, which is a matric certificate for my mother, a driver's license also, I managed to say now I can focus on becoming a fully professional player.
Obviously you left school and you settled in at Jomo Cosmos. So I mean,
Yeah.
what was it like being coached by one of the legends in football? I mean, and what's one of the memorable things that you remember and that he taught you?
Let me tell you, Dr. Sono is not only just a coach, Malusi. He was a father figure, he was a brother. And the one biggest thing that I'll never forget that he told me, he says, like you have to have relationship with family.
Yeah.
Because back then, me and my dad kind of fell off, the family, parents splitting, and I left with my mother. But as time went on, he called me at training when the guys were busy training. And then he says, like, where's your dad? All the time I hear you speaking about your mom had this to do. And I respect that. But where's your father? And I told him, no, my father is in zone 14. He's still alive, still kicking. He says, when last did you speak to him? I said, 1997. And this was like 2003, if I'm not mistaken. He
Yeah.
says, my boy, do me a favor. We've grown up together. You like my son. I've raised you with Pamoza from 16 years. Just when you get a weekend off, go see your dad. You don't have to say anything. Just go into the house, knock, sit down with him, and have a cold drink and start talking. Which is what I did. When we got a weekend off, I went to see my dad. And amazingly, this man, Mhlathe, who was also a player, he's been waiting for me all those years to say, my boy, today you changed my life. I'm happy you're here. I've missed you. I've missed you guys. And now the father and son relationship continues, which made me a better man going forward in life.
So, and I mean, talking about that, as sometimes as players, we don't realize what value parents play in our sport.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
think that's made you a better player or made you focus better?
To be honest, it made me a better person because now when I was a better person and fulfilled, I could manage to excel in sports, excel in public relations, excel with friends, and I could be able to advise younger people and older people about the values of having both your parents in your life, even if they're separated or one has passed on, but you need to have the one in your life and it will make life so much easier because you have somewhere to go to, you have somewhere to cry, you have somebody to celebrate things with.
Oh, that's power. That's power. I mean,
Yeah,
when I talk back about the coach, sometimes
yeah,
it's a coach can make or break you, and in your
yeah,
case, a coach has made you and you build a relationship. Now, how about
yeah,
what happens when you get empty promises? You get empty promises,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
and then those things don't happen. That can affect a player, and it can make a player fade away from the game and lose interest because the person that you trusted the most has sort of
yeah.
lied to you in a sense. So how did you handle that as a player, and how did that help you, like, focus on what you need to
You,
do on the field?
yeah. Sometimes I say the coaches and the owners of the teams are there to give you a platform. It's like a foundation.
Yeah,
But after that foundation is laid, it's up to the individual to say that, okay, well, what does Lucky Mhlathe want? Am I gonna let this empty promise come stop me in my path where I wanna reach?
Yeah.
And it had to come down to say, no, now I'm gonna play for the team, yes, the badge, but now I'm gonna play for Lucky so that the world knows that there's Lucky Mhlathe. So
Yeah.
you take that empty promise, you turn it around, and you make it positive. I remember when we got relegated and we were fighting to get back into the PSL at the VUT Stadium is because there were so many empty promises while we were relegated. But where the fight that we had in that game to get back to promotion, after we got promoted, I'm telling you, Mr. Sono, he surprised everybody by giving us the same bonuses that we used to get in the PSL and also extending our contracts with the monies that we wanted in the PSL. So you see, sometimes you don't have to talk a lot, but do your work in the field of play. And that's what we did. That's what I did personally. And at the end, I won the battle because I gave him what he wanted and I got what I wanted.
I mean, you spoke about relegation, yeah, and sometimes most of the players or the clubs when they're relegated they can break easy, but
Yeah,
you stuck with Jomo. I mean,
yeah,
how did you overcome that? You know, and also it can be frustrating because financially things are not the same.
yeah,
So how do
yeah,
you stay
true.
focused in that situation?
Well, one thing I spoke about earlier is like John was a father figure, a coach. So he managed to sit us all down and have a one-on-one with us.
Yeah.
So he came to me and said, like, you've got offers out there, a lot of offers. I don't want to lie to you. But if you can give me this season and promote the team back into the PSL, we can sit down again and look which offer it will best suit you. Because remember, starting at 16, he was now my agent, my manager, my advice, my go-to person. So
Yes.
I looked at the option and said, you know what? Let me pay this man back by taking Jomo Cosmos back into the PSL. So after the one-on-ones we had with him, as we came back with the players, we realized that we all wanted the same thing, which is take Cosmos back to the PSL. And remember, when you do that, people are going to remember you with taking Cosmos back into the higher leagues. So that's what we did. But I valued the one-on-one session he had with each and every player. And some players says, no, Mr. Sono, I've got an offer somewhere. I want to go. I'm sorry. But I just feel my career will go to the next level if I leave, not play in the NFD. And some players were released to go, but I stayed and we managed to take the team back.
I mean, that's called loyalty, and now it
Yeah,
doesn't happen much in sports, not just in
yeah,
football, all the sports. I mean,
yeah.
what is your take on loyalty in sports?
Loyalty, once again, Melusi, I'd say it's up to the individual
Yeah.
because we know now the game has changed. I always say after 2010 World Cup in South Africa, financially the game has changed. So now you find that loyalty takes a backseat
Mm.
and finances creep in.
Yes.
So that's what has killed the game, in most of the time. Even in other sporting code, we now want to reassure ourselves with financial stability,
Mm.
unlike
Mm.
before when you can reassure yourself with employment, having a job at the current uh, moment.
Yes.
So the money has just come in very fast into the game, into the lifestyle, and it made loyalty take a back seat. I always say my loyalty, yes, it didn't give me a lot of money, but it gave me a name to go knocking at each and every door. I
Yes.
mean, like right now, if we're speaking, if I'd go to Dr. Sono and knock and say, I want my position back as team manager or communications manager. I agree. I believe that he will give it to me, because of the loyalty that has been shown.
In the
But
relationship.
if I had left, yeah, if I had left for money elsewhere and then now try to come back, it was going to be a bit difficult to say, but you left me in a crucial position. How do I know that when things are going down, you're not going to leave? Do you
Yes.
understand? So, yeah, but basically, honestly, finance has just killed the loyalty into the game.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's very tough nowadays. You know. I mean, as
Yeah,
black players, you're not just supporting your family, you're supporting the aunts,
yeah,
the
yeah.
uncles. So it's tough to have loyalty
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah,
I mean,
but again, Melusi, if it's like that, you're gonna support them with loyalty. I feel you're gonna support them for life.
Okay.
But with finances creeping in, you're gonna have finances for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe of your professional career. I don't know how cricket you guys are phasing out with contracts. But when that contract ends and there's no more money coming in, then how are you gonna support the uncles? How are you gonna support the aunts?
Yeah.
But with loyalty, I don't even have to knock at the employer that I was at. I can knock somewhere else and they'll say that with the reference that they've seen at Jomo Cosmos, they'll say, no, like he can give us this. And we know that he'll never walk out without us discussing. That's
Yes.
loyalty for you.
No, I think you're right. It's different for everyone. I mean,
Yeah, true.
talking about Jomo Cosmos, there's always those people that you're close to. Who was your
Yeah.
favorite roommate at Jomo Cosmos?
Innocent Ntume, number 15. he he used to wear number 15. I used to wear number 16. But basically, I think he became close to me because of the character that he was. He was the same with me. I
Yeah.
mean, we shared a whole lot of similarities, family-wise. Even in the club, we connected a bit more. So he ended up being a brother to me. He ended up being one of the people that I take in as not a teammate anymore, but my brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's also quite rare nowadays in sport to have people that are close because you have things like
Yeah,
media can pump you up and you think you're better than the people
yeah,
around you.
yeah.
I mean, what advice would you give to young players that want to have a long career?
What I can say to the young players is that number one, they need to listen to their coaches. They need to listen to their mentors. They need to humble themselves. They need to respect what they do. They need to respect the people who got them there. They need to respect themselves because I always say you'll have a marvelous game against Kaizer Chiefs and the country will be watching, the world will be watching. After that game, how you handle yourself in public, it's going to be the key, whether you're going to have a short career or the longest career. Because remember, the people that support you, the people that are soccer loving family, they're gonna always look at you and they're gonna always be either praying for you or saying that that one doesn't listen, he doesn't deserve this kind of lifestyle. And that's where it all crumbles. But if you loyal, you respect yourself, you humble yourself. When you see somebody greet you, you greet back, and things like the small things like that, which is each and every human being has. All of us, we have that loyalty, respect, and humbleness. You will go far. And the most important thing, Melusa, I just want to put across is that save when you're young. When you break, imagine if I had to save, let's say 500 or 1,000 when I broke in at 16. When I retired at 32, I will be okay now. I wouldn't be crying or saying what the youngsters need to save. It's difficult because we want to help out, we want to achieve, we want to drive nice cars, but we need to save. It's important,
Yeah.
as especially professional soccer players.
I mean, when we talk about the times where Coach Jomo or Dr. Sono came and spoke to you
Yeah.
guys and said, I know other clubs are offering you, but this is what I'll do for you. What club gave you a big offer that's tempted you to sort of go in between Dr. Sono and go with the money? You know?
Uh, no, the biggest clubs are in South Africa that says like we want your services. It was Super Sport for me,
Yeah.
Super Sport said, Lucky, we'd like to have you in board. Pagaka, the right back, was leaving to Kaizer Chiefs, so they needed a right back. So, like I said, my mentor and my coach and my agent was Dr. Sono. So I had to rely on him to
Yeah.
say that, Lucky, this is a good move for you, or Lucky, please just wait a little bit. Look at your age, you nearly gonna reach the aspect where you're gonna have to retire very soon, or 3 more years that you can make you money.
Mm.
So I weighed those options. We talked about it, and to be honest, he said to me, "When you retire at Cosmos, you're gonna take over as team manager because I need you to help me run the team." So I looked at that and I was like, "Wow, that means I'm employed after playing football. I might go jump up ship, play get that money, but after when the contract expires or I become older, what's going to happen?
Yes.
But at Jomo Cosmos, I was guaranteed that after football, I'll be in the setup of management and I will grow individually, besides in the playing field, but outside also of soccer industry.
I think another thing that I've learned now from this chat we're having is that, if you didn't have a relationship with Dr. Sono, if you didn't have
Yeah,
trust in him, you wouldn't have believed what he said that after you'll be doing.
yeah,
And I think it goes
mm,
back to what you're saying is that you must listen and respect and listen to your
yeah,
men. And I just learned now sometimes as players, when you're doing well, you forget about
yeah,
important, forget about the
yeah.
people that groomed you to be who you are. And I think that's the
Yes,
biggest mistake
yes.
for me is that, and because you're doing well for 1 or 2, 3 games and people start talking about you, now you
You
forget
lose your
about the
mind.
person that has
Mm.
taken their time and energy, their sweat to make
I'm
sure that you
telling you,
sort it. I think that's what
I'm telling you, yeah.
uh,
Yeah, and remember, Melusi, when you are in that aspect, there's uncles who bought you boots. There's mothers who sacrificed to buy you soccer boots or something just to make your career come.
yeah,
And there's a coach or a team manager or a team owner who gave you a platform, gave you a chance to
yeah,
say that showcase your talent from God. So those are the people that you can never ever turn your back on, because when you every time you play, you saying that thank you to them, you know?
yeah,
So we need to just say, stay focused. I mean, there's coaches right now that I know they are doing the same thing. I mean, you talk about Steve Hompela.
yeah,
He's a coach, but when you see him speaking to his players, he loves it. He's like a brother, and he tells them, open up to me. Let's talk. Let's have a chat. You guys are becoming men, and I respect that, but we are here to work and become a family.
yeah,
Gavin Hunt, same thing. Johnny Ferreira, same thing. I can mention a lot of coaches who have developed the aspect of not only being a coach,
mm,
but being your support, being your a brotherhood in our lives. It's just that as players, like you said, when we hit the limelight, now we have newspapers, now we have interviews, we kind of like forget and slip back, and that's where the mistake happens.
yes, yes. That's. I think for me, that's one of the important factors. Now that I'm still playing,
Yeah,
what I try and do is I don't
yeah,
try and let performances get to me. Whether I've done well or
yeah.
done well, I don't try and let that get to me. I try and focus on the processes.
Mm,
And I think at the end of the
mm,
day, as soon as I have my processes right, I'll always be able to perform under pressure. I'll always
yeah,
perform when it matters the most. It allows me to respect
yeah,
people, to always do the small things right. So
yeah.
I think
And remember,
it's also important
yeah,
to
sorry to
say
disturb you.
performances
Yeah,
don't define you as a player. But
yeah,
unfortunately, that's how our sport is. How you judge as a player,
yeah,
which is that's
yeah.
not much you can do. So did you like do any mental work before a game, or how did you prepare for a game?
For me, I had to just have two things. I had to have a Red Bull and tights, and thermal shorts. If I'd never had thermal shorts, it was done for me. I was going to have a bad game. So the first thing I packed when I was going to camp, it was tights, because hey, it works with your psychology, because other players, I'm telling you, they prefer their shin pads, soccer boots. Each and every player's got his own thing. But
Yeah,
for me, I had to have my tights, because one thing I loved, and people were just saying it, hey, like the way you tackle, it's on point. So I said, how am I gonna tackle if I don't have my tights? So now the first thing I packed is tights. So for me, mentally, that's what stood out for me. I had to have my tights wherever I go, and I can confirm now. In all the 15 years I've played, I think I left my tights at home once, and I don't want to forget. I want to forget that game as we speak right now.
what's funny? It's funny how
Yeah,
sports relate somehow. Like most of the players, especially the bowlers, they can't they
yeah,
can't focus if they don't have their tights. If they don't have their socks,
yeah.
they can't focus. It's just so strange that it relates. And if a guy doesn't have their socks, then he's gone the whole
Yeah,
day. Even if you borrow him
and
a pair
and
of socks, they're not the same to what he's used to.
And imagine if a batsman loses his ball box, you know, the protection, and the one that he trusts, what's going to happen? That man is not going to play, you know, in cricket. He will never step out on the field of play. He'll come with all the excuses. So you're right. It's in the same with all sports.
Yeah.
Some just want, you know, in tennis, one will tell you that I need to have this wristband for me. I'm winning this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, what was one of your favorite moments at Jomo Cosmos? Moment that you'll never ever forget. You'll still talk about even now.
There are a couple, but the one that has stood out for me is the one that I mentioned earlier that, you know, we came to play the last game against Dynamos in Rand Stadium. And that said, if Dynamos beats us, we were getting relegated that season. But if we beat them, then we were safe, you know?
Yeah.
So in the dressing room, it was sixes and sevens. Jomo was trying to put the team together, and I was playing left back in that position. And you know, I asked him, I said, Dr. Sono, you sign me because I'm got speed. He says yes. I said, please just move me a little bit forward so I can be closer to the goals. And he says, like, you're a defender now. How are you going to score when you're closer to the goals? Because I need you to defend. I said, no, man. A hunch is telling me that if you can move me closer and tell your central midfielders, then it was Innocent Ntume and Sipos Paddy, to just clip the ball behind the back four. I'm telling you right now, coach, nobody's going to beat me for pace. So somehow, like you said, the understanding we managed to have the relationship, he said, okay, Sharp, let's see how the game starts. I started at left back, played 15 minutes, 25 minutes, nothing happened. And then he just made a sign. He says, hey, move forward. So I started moving forward. And after just the second ball, Innocent played it behind the defense. I beat them flat out with pace. I managed to score one goal. So halftime came and he says, hey, wena? So I was talking. I said, no. One thing I noticed about Dynamos when we play them is that they are slow at the back. And, you know, with Tico holding the ball and Cosnatis holding the ball being strong, we can infiltrate them with my pace because he will hold it and play for me to go in.
Yeah.
Second half came. When it started, same. Innocent Tume played a second ball. I took it, 2-0. They came back 2-1. And then, because Natin Klekwa managed to play 1-2 with him, he got break, he scored the third goal. And we beat Dynamos 3-1. And we celebrated like we've won the league because we have just survived relegation.
Yeah. No.
So that game, I can never forget it. I'm telling you.
I love that story.
Hey, Dr. Sonu will tell you stories, my friend. He says, he brought something. I can see. There's no player who ever done this. So yeah, it was one of the good moments. And also winning the Coca-Cola Cup after we got 5 from Kaizer Chiefs the previous season, 2001. They hammered us 5-0. Remember, Jabu Pule was just dancing around the whole team.
Yeah.
The following season, we beat them 1-0. And that 1-0, it was so painful, more than the 5 they gave us. Because every time I meet Kaizer Chiefs fans, even now, believe you me, 15 years later or 13 years later, they still talk about that game. Yeah, Nizropile, ne? Yeah, Nizropile with that goal. Yeah. I said, it was up to the linesman to catch up with Dikham Mabalad on the right. He was also quick. So he beat the linesman, crossed the ball, Tico scored, and we won the cup. So it was a sweet revenge for us.
Yeah, I think I remember that game. I mean,
yeah,
it's nice to obviously have people still talk about that game. I mean,
yeah.
How would you say, what's the difference of the standard of the football when you were playing versus to what's the standard or what's being played at the moment?
To be honest, you know, I always talk to the coaches. I just tell them that as South Africans, I make reference that we've got our own style. Remember the under-23 squad that went to beat Brazil in the Olympics?
Yes.
That we're playing our own style. I mean, Steve Luquilia, Jabu Pule was doing magic. Matthew Booth at the back, Junaid Hardley, you know, Nomvete. But now with the change of tactics, the change of formation that we're getting from abroad, we're trying to introduce it in South Africa. And 90% of South African players, you remember, we're shorter, but we're quick. We're shorter, but we've got skill. but the formation that's coming that we're trying to implement for the players is becoming a bit difficult because it's more tactical wise. And we players in South Africa, when it comes to tactic, we seem to get lost. For example, zonal marking in the box. I mean, you've heard now lately, it's all about zonal marking, the areas you have to mark. No, back then it was simple. It was Lucky, mark Malusi. Malusi mustn't header the ball, he won't score. So I knew my job is that you mustn't header. And if I do my job well, you're not going to score. And we have a chance in winning the game. But nowadays, they say that, make sure your zone is closed. But now the strikers are roaming free in the box and they can be able to punish you. So that's one aspect for me that has changed our football so much. I just feel that, yes, we can take and learn from all the tactics and transformations that's coming, but let's not forget South African football. And the one coach who's doing it right at the Academy Stars of Africa is Farouk Khan. He's managed to actually combine the two. I mean, he's studying everywhere. He's traveling to Portugal, he's traveling to Brazil, he's traveling to Holland, and then he comes back home and he says, okay, with all that I've learned and what we have here, how do I combine the two? And he's just, he's dangerous. I mean, if you can see his boys, I went to visit him there. An under 13 boy, 11 years old, was able to juggle a tennis ball. I mean, talking about 100 touches that he's made with a tennis ball, So that's one of the elements that the game is showing, that if you combine what we have and take a little bit of outside football, you will achieve something, because Germany is coached by a German coach. Brazil is coached by a Brazilian coach. Holland is coached by a Dutch. France also. So with us also, it's good to see now that our head coach is in Mhlathe in South Africa. So I believe he'll be bringing those spicy back. We'll be seeing more now of the new non-vetters, the new Steve Lukwelias, the new Junaid Hadlis.
I think also with what you were saying there, when you say Malusi Mark there, it's all about, it's a gut feeling, that's a natural thing. But now when you say zonal marking, it's more textbook. It's like you take to define this way. When you allow me to work it myself, I will always find it quicker. But obviously, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely right. When you say zonal marking, it's all about textbook stuff. Like, you cover certain areas, but it's not the areas that's going to score. It's Malusi who's going to score. So now, Malusi, if he has not picked it up that, they said Lucky mustn't move across this area, you're going to go to that area that I'm not going to mark and you're going to punish the team. But if you know that Lucky's here, he said that I'm aware that he's picking me up, it's going to be not easy for you to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yes. I mean, I want to talk more about retiring now. That's not the easiest thing to do. You spend 15 years doing what you love, and now you have to let go. When did you get home and decide, like, now you want to retire? I mean, how was that decision for you?
Oof, it was hard. I don't want to lie.
Yeah.
There was actually a time where I cried to say, you know what? Am I going to stop playing? And, Dr. Sono said to me, like, you think about it. I think it's about time that after 15 years of full professional, think something else. And then, I went back to his words and I said to him, if I retire now, am I still getting a position in management as team manager or communications manager? He says, hey, I'll do one better for you. You'll get them both. You'll be a team manager and a communications manager.
Yeah.
And at camp, I remember I think my last game when I played, I spoke to Gerald Mochali because he was an assistant coach then. And I explained to him, I said, I don't want to retire. I feel I still have legs to go on. And then he says to me, like, yes, we still see you've got legs, but think about this way. You're jumping into the next level of football, which is now the running of football. You're jumping into management. You get to learn more. And for that, for me, it reassured me that, I'm still in the game. Yes, I'm not going to be kicking inside of the field, but I'm going to be relied on to make sure that the game happens inside of the field, outside. So I think I went to Mr. Sono when the season 2011-2012 ended. I said, boss, I'm ready now. Give me what I need to do. And he says, no, there it is. Register players. Make sure that the hotel's flights are booked, communication with the media, make sure you're up to scratch, and the rest you'll pick it up as you go. And the nice thing is I had a relationship with people around the football
Yeah.
faculty. I mean, I'm talking
Exactly.
about Tandy. Yeah,
Yes.
Tandy at Orlando Pirates. She schooled me. The former PSL head of security, Mr. Massimu, he schooled me. So in a short space of 3 months, I was able to now be able to plan and utilize things that I've learned and make sure that Cosmos can take part in a game. Everything is set up, security is planned out. So it was hard, but because of what I've learned after playing, I
Yes.
think it made it a bit easier.
So how long did it take you to be at peace with the fact that you're not playing anymore?
Now, even today, I'm still not at peace. I'm still not at peace. That's why you find me. I'm still running around playing the over 35 leagues, because you never get over it, to be
Yeah.
honest, especially when you see youngsters messing with the opportunities they're getting from the teams,
Yeah. Mm.
messing with the opportunities of making a name and making
Mm.
money for themselves.
Mm.
Then you're like, hey, God, if you can only take 15 years away from my life, give
Yeah.
me a chance so I can show these youngsters. But
Yes.
you make peace with it. You
Yes.
don't get over it, but you make peace with it so you can be able to open your heart, advise people, and move on and be able to concentrate fully what you're doing at current moment.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I will reach to the end now, like towards always at the end.
Yeah,
I always ask this question from me to you. What is your one piece
yeah.
of advice for the game of life?
Well, what I can say is that it's all about enjoyment.
Yes.
Enjoy it to the fullest because imagine how many youngsters in South Africa want this opportunity that you
Yes.
are getting it
Mm.
to the players. So if you grab that opportunity, enjoy it to the fullest. Make your a test become a testimony, something that one day Malusi will give you a call and say, "Let's chat about your career."
Yes.
And for me, it's the highlight of the whole shebang.
Yes. I know. I mean,
Yeah,
before I wrap up, I mean, I always get the viewers to ask a couple of questions. If you don't mind, we'll just wait for viewers to ask one or two
yeah,
questions and
yeah,
just wrap up from there. I mean, then again, thank you so
yeah,
much, Brother Lucky, for taking your time to have a chat with me. I've definitely learned so much. I mean, I've
yeah,
learned how to be patient, and I appreciate
yeah,
cricket a lot more. And obviously, as a player, you get
yeah,
frustrated about things that you can't control. Now, I've learned
yeah,
from you to be patient and just focus on
yeah.
what you're doing. I mean, let's
No.
see if anyone's got any questions here.
No, thanks very much, Melissa, for inviting me. And one thing that I can put across to you and ask maybe is how difficult is it to set up academies for cricket? Like you see football, every second corner there's an academy.
Yes,
Now for cricket, my challenge to you is that plan something that ekasi we can, grow the game of cricket. Like you're a cricketer now, it's easy to come to you for advice. But we'll talk about it some other time because we're not all gonna be soccer
yes,
players. The youngsters are not gonna be all soccer players.
yes,
So let's give them something also to think about. I mean, cricket is a wonderful sport. I played at high school.
yes.
I think a lot of youngsters would love to be part and parcel of it.
I think to answer that, it goes back to how I started this thing, this game of life was that um, it's like I was saying to myself, oh, I mean, I'm not a journalist or I'm not an interviewer,
Yeah,
but how can I do it?
yeah,
But I just went with it anyway. I think the same thing
yeah,
applies with starting an academy. You can't really worry
mm,
about other academies. I mean, you gotta start with what you know and use your skill. And one or two, if you can teach one or two kids and they become better players, that's you've done the job. And I think we'll
yes,
start growing from there. I think as people nowadays, we all want shortcuts. We don't want to wait
yeah,
2, 3, 4 years to
oh yes,
coming to get a success. We all want shortcuts. Um,
true.
yeah, I think there's a team. Which team do you support currently in the PSL?
Because of my job, I support all the teams. But I grew up supporting Lucas Ratebe, Gatna Seale. So the team close to my heart was Kaizer Chiefs. But now I support all of them because we all friends, and my job has requires me to be level-headed with all the other the teams in the PSL. and the Glad African Championship.
Yeah, I think another one says, what advice will you give to recent players as a legend at Cosmos?
I'd say save a lot. I think we touched a little bit on it.
Yeah,
The young players, we need to save money, even if it's that 100 rand,
yes,
even if it's that 1,000 rand.
yes,
Save, because when you retire and put your boots aside, that money is going to help you live your life further and do the things that you've been doing while you were playing, which is take care of your family and friends.
yeah. Another one is favorite player of all time.
Gifty Lorraine, the late
Why is that?
Continental,
Why do you say
my
that?
headache.
Why do you say that?
Oh my goodness. I've never seen such a player. I mean, after I watched Brazil, Kaká, he was pushing the ball with his right, 2 touches, left, 2 touches, and he could be able to maneuver left or right at any time. That's what Gifty Remy had in him when he was playing at Orlando Pirates. And the same power he had with his right foot, he had with his left foot. And, he was just unbelievable. I think, if we could have had him more, life situation, if we could have played more and didn't pass away, we could have had a magic, we could have had a star in the making.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Bro Lucky, I mean, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. I will definitely keep in touch with you if I need to speak
Yeah,
with any other soccer players. I mean, I'll also just keep in touch
true.
to say how's it and all of that. I mean, thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Malusi, man. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. It was lovely, something eye-opener for me, and I enjoyed myself talking about the beautiful game and life afterwards.
Yes, I mean, sorry, there's one more question here. It says, how do you handle fans when you're having a bad game while they expect you to be at your best?
Uh, you just come out smiling. I think that was the key for me. I come out smiling and I apologize and I promise them that the next game I'm gonna give them what they want. That's what I always did. When we had a bad game, I came out and I smiled and I put my hand on the head and say, "Ish, Bafut, but next time I'm telling you, I promise you guys, siyabadlala abantu."
Yeah,
The fans are kind of understandable people, and because they love you, they will know that you mean it and it wasn't a good day then.
yeah, yeah, I know. But Lucky, thank you so much again. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you. You too, Mel. Bye.